Hello. Sorry, I just nearly fell off my chair then. I wanted to talk to you today all about limiting beliefs. Now, this is a podcast that I just had come out, and I just wanted to touch on it right now because I wanted to expand on it in a little bit of a different way than what I did in the podcast. And I thought it'd be great if you had any questions or if you had any things that came up for you. Maybe you've listened to it already, or maybe it's something you have been thinking about, or maybe it's something that you know that you've got certain ones and you want to talk about a little bit more. So that's an opportunity for you. We're just going to have a little chat about what they are, sort of thing, what are some common ones, and what some things you can do to move through that as well. All right, so as a generalization, everyone has some sort of limiting beliefs, whether they're, you have more than others. Everyone has a different version of them. Everyone starts in a different place. Everyone has had a different life experience. Everyone has had a different upbringing. They've had different things happen to them and occur to them. So we're all coming in with different experiences and different backgrounds. And so therefore you are going to all come in with some sort of version of a limiting belief. Whether it's, you have more than others or whatever it might be, that's always going to be different. So what they generally are stories that we tell ourselves. And I've got some notes here, so I'm just going to make sure I cover everything. Stories that we tell ourselves. So what are the things that you say to yourself all the time? Or what are some subconscious things that you make a decision on quickly because you think, I can't do that anyway, I'm never going to be able to do that. So there might be some things that you say all the time to yourself, or there may be stories that you tell yourself to keep you in your place, to keep you safe. And it's a mechanism to keep you safe, because the more you push yourself and you might fail, then the universe is like, oh well, I told you so. Like, you feel like you're like, told you so, that was going to happen anyway. I was never going to succeed. I was never going to be able to make it, or I was never going to be able to get that blah job, or whatever it might be. So it's a way to keep you safe, and it's a way to keep you from taking too many risks and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, because it's like you think your mind's sort of saying to you, that's never going to work, you can't do that, you can't achieve that, who do you think you are? All of those things come up for people, and if we don't believe it's possible, it's almost that you self-sabotage for it not to happen, to prove yourself right as well. That's often what happens. Hello, Naomi. I can see you've just popped on there. So yeah, I just wanted to dive into a little bit more. So as I said at the start, I've got a podcast episode on this where I dive into it and go through three of the ones that I believe are common ones that hold lots of people back in product businesses especially. So what I just touched on there was, what it is. It's stories we tell ourselves, limiting beliefs, are those beliefs that we hold about ourselves that we believe to be true. And often it keeps you safe. It keeps you in your place so you don't push yourself out of your comfort zone. So we don't even put in that full effort because we're sort of like, oh no, it's never going to happen. I'm never going to be able to do that anyway. I'm never going to be able to achieve that. So it's a way that we sabotage ourselves as well. All right, so one of the ones that is a huge one for so many people, and I'm sure maybe you can put in the comments here if you have some limiting beliefs that come up again and again, you're trying to work through them, or maybe there's just something you think, is this one that I maybe started to be aware of recently? Time. So time is one of those things that everyone has the same amount of. You have different things in your life, so everyone has different demands on their time. So no one's in the exact same situation or in the exact same financial situation, so they can afford to, manage their time in different ways because they have someone helping them or whatever. So everyone has the same amount of time, but everyone's obviously demands are different. That's facts. But what you choose to do with your time is, in your control. Obviously, if you're, work for someone else and you're fully employed, then you have restrictions on that. But if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a small business owner, you get to choose where you spend your time. And you may have family demands, you may have other things going on in your life, of course, that's true, but you still get to make choices. And so one of the things that people, that most common ones that people say is that they just don't have enough time. I don't have time to do that. I never have enough time. And it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy because you keep telling yourself that. So a limiting belief works as well, that you sort of continue this, negative self-talk all the time. And then that's what ends up happening because you keep telling yourself that was the case. So moving through your limiting beliefs is about, figuring out how you change those things, how you tweak them, and how you start to think about things differently to try and, trick your subconscious into thinking that you do have enough time, or that you always have enough time. So changing the language that you use, instead of, I don't have enough time, I've never got enough time, working through, I need to, I'm working on how to manage my time better. I'm getting better at allocating the priorities of what I need to focus on. I'm getting better using my time for the most important tasks in my business. So how can you rephrase it? How can you change what you say to help you, have that positive emphasis as well? So just one here I had written down was, how do you manage that time? So one of the first things I do in a few of my programs, but one of them especially is the time management. What are you actually doing with your time? So really doing that self-check-in of how you're using your time currently, and then figuring out if, you might not have much time compared to, say, Sarah over there who's got no kids and doesn't run a retail store or whatever it might be. But are you using the time that you do have effectively? So are you, and I did a post the other day on here about, are you spending too much time on social media? I know we're here on social media, but if you don't have a lot of time, how can you allocate your resources better so that you do have more time for the most important tasks? So not everyone is going to be able to achieve the same thing. Excuse me. Oh, perfect. Okay. So I feel like there's enough time in each day. You need to jump back into your course. Yes, you do. Yes. And we'll have some more time in there as well about how to do this as well. So 100%. So what can you do to review? So first of all, review what you're doing with your time and have a look at if you are using time effectively. I notice myself getting so distracted all the time. So I'm trying to change my environment and change what I do beforehand, before I sit down and do a task, and what I turn off and what I, allow myself to do, because I get so distracted. It's just gotten crazy recently, and I'm like, how do I focus on these tasks in front of me? Can you either chunk it? And so that's another thing, using AI to really help you chunk your time. Like, can you get it to move your calendar around a little bit? So for me, I have sales calls that I do with people. I do coaching calls. I'm going to try and block those into certain days, because I find myself, if I've got like 2 or 3 appointments in one day, that's better than if I've got them spread out, because I can't get enough done beforehand or afterwards, because I just don't have that focus time. So for me, it's like, okay, I need to rearrange my calendar a little bit to make sure I've got more block time to focus on particular tasks. Can you, delete it? Can you stop doing that task? Is it really a necessary task that you need to do? Like, can you repurpose content instead of creating new content, for example? That's just one thing you could do instead. Can you delegate it? So can you get, staff member to help you? Can you get your kids to do something? For me, I have a dog walker twice a week, just, come in and help take the dog, because I can't do it, twice a day, every day, because it's just too much. I'm like, okay, twice a week, that'd be great to have someone else come and help. I delegated dinners to my husband, which obviously not everyone's going to be able to do, but I am not really good. Yes, that's great. Let's talk about that, Naomi. I'm not really good at cooking. I'm really not that. I just am messy and I forget things and I burn things. And anyway, it's a better job for him. So when he can, hopefully more than often than not, I just that's not something I'm doing. I'm just not doing it anymore. My kids are a little bit older, so I'm like, you can do your own washing, you can do your own, dinners, lunches, and so on and so on. They just do everything themselves. So the older you get, and that might be easy for me to say because my kids are a little bit older, but it's like I started getting them to do that as they were, I think since when they hit at the end of primary school and high school, you need to be doing your own lunches. You need to be they do their own shopping, like they do grocery shopping as well. Not all the time, but a lot often. We live in walking distance too, so it's a bit easier. So, what can you delegate? What can you push out that you don't have to do? In store, like lots of you have got a retail store. How can you manage that so you're not getting distracted with all the other things you've got to get done? Can you get in the store earlier and do certain things, and then you can leave time for doing other stuff at different times of the day? Naomi just said, I need to allocate one full day just for wholesale leads. And that is a really important thing, because having that sales as a priority in your business is so, like, you really do need to prioritize that. Like, that is something that should be focused on. And if it means that your Instagram, you get one less post that week because you've actually focused on that, then that's what you should be doing, because that is a sales activity that's going to bring in income into your business, and it's going to generate, strong relationships with your leads that you already have, and who are obviously warm because they're, obviously, as you said, leads. So making sure that you focus on the right task at the right time and go through what you're doing. And do you need to spend less time? I'm, again, restricted myself from scrolling on Instagram or just, checking things out. I try not to watch more than an hour of TV a day, because I'm like, it's just a waste. Otherwise I'll get sucked into something and I'll watch 3 hours or 3 episodes of something, and then I haven't got what I wanted to get done. So what can you do with your time to get some back or capture some back? Really thinking about how you use your time you have, and then changing the way that you speak about your time and the way that you talk about how much time you have. So stop using the language, I don't have enough time, or there's never enough time, I'm so busy. Try and remove that from your vocabulary, I'm so busy. That is something that I've tried to remove, because I'm like, busy's not, I'm not that busy. I've actually got time to make choices about what I want to do. I enjoy doing lots of things. That's just my personality, and I like to have lots of things going on all the time. So I am busy, but I'm not like crazy busy that it's overwhelming me, I guess, because then that becomes another factor, like overwhelm. So how can you, what language can you use to help yourself, your subconscious as well, move past those things of, I don't have enough time, I'm always so busy, I'm overwhelmed, like trying to remove those things from your language. And I don't know, has anyone here listened to the podcast already, actually? Anyway, I'm talking about the podcast that came out today, but I talked about having my husband, who's a psychologist, come on and talk all about that negative self-talk, because it's such a factor for a lot of people. So I'm going to have him come onto the podcast and really dive into that as well. Let me know if that's something you want to hear more about, because it is quite fascinating when you hear the scientific side of things. All right, so language you use, be cautious and conscious of what you're saying. How can you reframe it? How can you twist it? How can you make it a more positive language? You'll listen. Awesome, Naomi. That'd be good to hear. So doing those things, the way you speak, like, I always have bad luck, like, don't say that. Like, it's like telling the universe that that's what's going to happen. And I don't know if you've heard the Lucky Girl, what is it? Lucky Girl method? I can't even think of what it's called. But, talking about the way that I'm so lucky, great things happen to me all the time. Like having mantras, having affirmations and saying things, even if something bad happens, you can be like, well, that's another actual little thing. It's like good luck, bad luck, maybe. Like, who knows? You never know if something happens for a reason that's going to create something else good that might happen in your life, because something perceivably bad happened. Again, I'll get him to explain that one, because that's something that my kids have gone through, like lots of this stuff as well. All right, so limiting beliefs. I'd love to hear what you think, and if you know what some you've got already. So if anyone has got some, that just let me know. If you've got a couple that you think, oh yeah, I say that one all the time, I've got to stop saying that. I've got to twist the way I say that and make it a more positive language as opposed to negative self-talk. Let me know. And then as you notice yourself, definitely something you should do is start to take notes. So whether it's on your notes app on your phone, whether it's something you send in an email to yourself, or whether it's a journal that you have, a diary, or just a little, somewhere. But where can you start to take notes and see what you're repeating, see what you're saying all the time? That's a great one. I said, Mandy, I've completely forgotten your name. MJ. So it's a tough financial environment. Now, yeah, it obviously is at the moment. There is lots of things going on, but not for every brand. And I've spoke about this in the podcast. Like, I work with a lot of brands, and I work with a lot of retail stores, and I can tell you some of them are not experiencing much pain at all. Like, they're doing really well. And maybe it's their customer, maybe it's the particular product they have, maybe it's what marketing they've been doing or how long they've been around. There's a lot of factors involved. But if you keep saying to yourself that no one's buying right now, January is a terrible month for sales, no one is coming in my store right now, like, stop saying the negative things and start to try and use positive language about how you're feeling. So it doesn't obviously magically happen that you all of a sudden going to, flip things around, but the universe is listening to, the way that you keep saying these things. So that's almost like that law of attraction of what you say, you attract. So if you keep saying these things, then you're going to keep experiencing them. And obviously I'm no expert in this area, but Abraham Hicks talk, that's one of the particular talks that they talk about is that law of attraction. You keep saying those same things, you're going to keep bringing those things into existence. Awesome. Yeah. Good, MJ. So what can you do? So start to just think about what you do, what you say. Just, it's just maybe things that you're like, oh, I did not realize I said that all the time. I have even the ways to not forget things, instead of saying, oh, let's not forget, I better not forget, blah, blah, blah. Changing the language of like, I must remember so-and-so. So even that little tweak helps you remember to take more things or pick up more things because you're telling your brain, I must remember. So even that little thing, that can make a huge difference to what happens in your life. Like, I know that sounds simplistic and strange, but that's something I started to do because I would forget things. But the more I do it, the less that actually happens. So that's one thing too. All right. If you haven't already listened to the podcast, awesome. If you haven't already listened to the podcast, have a listen, and then I'll definitely get Ben, my husband, to come and talk about that negative self-talk. I said to him, can we do like a 10, he's like, how long of the episode would you want to do? And I was like, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes. He's like, 20 minutes? I need to have at least 45 minutes. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. Anyway, so it's going to be enough in there that it's going to be, enough to help you take away some things of what you can do to help yourself. So that'll be good. So go listen to the episode. Let me know if you want to hear more about negative self-talk and how it can impact you from a scientific point of view as well. And also, take note of your behavior and the language you use, the things that you say to yourself, what you might be, attracting because of the way you speak and the way you think. So I look forward to sharing more, and can't wait to hear what you think of the episode and if you want to hear more from the scientific side of things too. All right. Thank you so much. I look forward to hearing more from everyone, and I just need to come on here live more often, don't I, just to interact and chat with everyone. But I love to see what people's thoughts are. All right. Speak to you soon.